Remember the Beast Quake game? Who doesn't remember the Beast Quake game? Well, we have version 2 of it. Possibly we've got running backs galore going at it when we've got New Orleans at Seattle. Now, obviously, this is a bit of Kenneth Walker Alvin Kamara. We got these sorts of running back names in it. But I think the real question in this game is Seattle any good? Which, by the way, isn't the first year that we've been asking this question. If you look back at last year, the first year under Michael McDonald as a head coach, sing your Doobie Brothers song here, we couldn't really figure out how good the Seahawks were. One week it looked good. The next week it didn't. Looked like a couple of plays 1 week in and out was the reason that they would win or lose. Couldn't really get a finger on the pulse of this team. I don't know after 2 weeks if we really have a finger on the pulse of the Seahawks even now. I mean, fact is, they lose week 1 to San Francisco in a game that they could have won, and then they absolutely take down Pittsburgh in week 2, but Pittsburgh played incredibly poorly. At 1-1, there's still a lot that's not yet proven for this Seahawks team, but what you have it now is opportunity. The Saints are, if not one of the worst teams in the entire NFL. This is the sort of game that should be a beer game. Seahawks fans should be sitting with their feet up in the fourth quarter, drinking a beer, not worried about the outcome. I'm interested to see if this team takes that next step. The NFC West, as we will get into, looks particularly good this year. And while it looks particularly good, what you don't want to do is lose ground to everybody else. A loss to the Saints would already be inexcusable for anybody this year. But a loss to the Saints when you are 1-1 and you're trying to keep pace in a division that could end up being pretty damn good is the sort of thing that sends your season the wrong direction. I'm not sure yet that we know enough about Seattle to know if they're any good. I'm not sure if we know enough yet about Mike McDonald to know if he's a really good head coach. What I am sure of are these are the sorts of games that give us an additional data point, and that data point can help us finally answer those questions. Speaking of the NFC West, let's get to it because, I mean, while we were all not paying attention, Seattle's 1-1, right? Arizona, sure, they've beaten 2 bad teams, but they're 2-0. The San Francisco 49ers, with Mac Jones as their quarterback, are 2-0, and the Rams are 2-0. Caroline, are we sleeping on this? Like, is this actually the most interesting division in the NFL, and we're just not talking about it?
It very well could be. I mean, you just look at the competition there and the depth in that division. I think we absolutely should be talking more about the NFC West. And I think that we should be talking about the teams that we really hadn't initially talked about. What dominated our discussion surrounding the NFC West was, will it be the 49ers or will it be the Rams? I don't think that the Cardinals are a better team than the Los Angeles Rams, but sometimes you just need a little bit of luck, and sometimes that luck comes in the form of your schedule. And the Arizona Cardinals have an incredibly manageable schedule. Yes, they took down New Orleans and Carolina, 2 teams that I think could potentially be in contention for the number 1 overall pick, or will have a top 5 pick in the draft this upcoming year. But now they go on the road to San Francisco. It'll be Mac Jones, and it will not be Brock Purdy. You have the advantage of playing a backup quarterback. They play Tennessee, and they play Jacksonville, and they play Houston, who don't necessarily look like world beaters, and the Falcons, who also don't necessarily look like world beaters. They play Cincinnati at the end of the season. What does Cincinnati look like at that point after Joe Burrow is out for 3 months? So you see a lot of advantages in Arizona's schedule. So I think that we should be talking more about the Arizona Cardinals being a sneaky kind of dark horse contender for the playoffs if they're able to beat up on the bad teams and steal a couple of wins against teams and games that they will not be favored in. I think I look at the Seahawks. Who are they at this point? 2 weeks in can be incredibly difficult. You have 1 good week, 1 not so great week. What are you? I think with Sam Darnold at the helm, you can believe you can at least find some consistency because Sam Darnold was awfully consistent in the regular season last year. So yes, I think that we should be talking more about the NFC West to be a multi-bid division in the playoffs.
I think it's a fair question to ask if this is the most interesting division in football, but I don't think it's the best. And when we start talking about more than 1 playoff spot, I think right now that I have trust issues with this entire division. I mean, maybe not the Rams. Maybe I'll put the Rams on the side, but I'm not even sure about that. Like, you know, I love to say this, but right? Like, I got a but on the 49ers. Mac Jones is playing. Plus, the injury bug just consistently hits this team. We wondered coming into the season, would it continue? The answer is yes, it has continued. And I don't trust any team that's battling injury issues throughout. If we're talking about the number of games lost to starters throughout the course of the season, that usually means your season didn't go all that great. And while I love the thought that the 49ers get healthy and go on a run, just the fact that they're having to trust Mac Jones right now, and we don't know how long that will be, makes me a little bit hesitant. What about the Cardinals? I can say, yeah, but they're the Cardinals. They always fall apart, right? The Cardinals actually, I think, maybe the fewest number of questions right now. The only question is, can the Cardinals not Cardinal? And I hate taking previous years and using that, lumping it into why this year's team won't be particularly successful. But we see Kyler Murray there on the screen. Like, I really don't know if Kyler Murray is him. Like, Kyler Murray is him in the world of OKs. Like, if we're taking the OK quarterbacks and you're like, yeah, we got one of those. Yeah, he's it. Like, that's who Kyler Murray is.
That's what the kids these days called mid, Fitz.
Yeah, okay. Isn't that 6'7"? Isn't that the way that works now? I don't understand 6'7". I'm just using things out of context.
I don't. I'm too old for that one. I know him. I know mid, but 6'7",
yeah.
You lost me.
Now, well, here, I'm just trying to help. All right, so we'll say that he's a mid 6'7", not his height. He wishes, maybe closer to 5'7" quarterback. All right, so that's I'm just being honest. I got a but on that. The Seahawks, I just said, like, there's some good, there's some bad. Sam Darnold, I'm not sure is really going to be any good. Like, I got questions on the Seahawks. So maybe the one team I don't have big question marks about are the Rams, but still, I can't forget the back conversations we were having, right? Like, I can't forget that they've got a quarterback that we were wondering if his back was going to hold up all year. So I think the Rams maybe have the simplest questions to answer. But if we're asking, like, are they going to get multiple teams in the playoffs? I don't know how the rest of the NFC is going to shape up. What I do think is that the NFC West is going to end up with a bunch of teams that are somewhere between 9-8 and 8-9, which makes them interesting, but it doesn't make them good.
Exactly. Like, this is the kind of division that there are multiple teams in the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised. I also wouldn't be surprised if this division is just meh. Interestingly, meh, just based off of the record. And you bring up a good point about the rest of the conference. I mean, the NFC is pretty stacked. Like, looking at the NFC East, I think the Eagles are a playoff team. The Commanders can be a playoff team. The Cowboys can be a playoff team. Oh, if Russ cooks like he did against the Cowboys, the Giants can be a playoff team. Don't at me. The Packers can be a playoff team, will be a playoff team. The Lions can be a playoff team. The Bucks are a playoff team. Like, how many did I just name there? I think that may have just been 7 in and of itself, and we didn't even get to the NFC West yet. So I think the way that we've talked about the AFC for so many years with Lamar and Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, that the NFC may have that depth that the AFC has had in so many years. The top of the AFC is elite, but who else underneath the elite of the AFC is really kind of, a contender? I look at the NFC and any of those teams that I just named, Philly, Green Bay, Detroit, Tampa Bay, the Rams, if Matthew Stafford's able to stay healthy for the majority of a 17-game season, I think any of those teams can get hot and make a run in the postseason.
But the thing of it is, we will talk about this division the way we talk about games. How often do we see a bad football game with a dramatic ending and we say, oh, man, that was a great game? No, it wasn't. It was a great 4 minutes of football on a game that was just crappy from top to begin. It was a great 4 minutes. Yeah. This is going to be an interesting division that we need to pay attention to because I'm not sure any of these teams separate. But to your point, I'm going to come up with this new brand, right? I'm going to use my initials, JF. It's my new acronym. The brand is just fine. Like, we're not going to do anything particularly well. It's just fine. And so what is the NFC West? It's just fine. The Seahawks are just fine. Like, there is some level to me of all of this. It will be interesting, though, and that's why we'll pay attention. And that is what the NFL does better than anybody. They take mid and make it interesting because it comes down to the wire. So, I think the difference between, for example, the NFC West and the AFC West is that, wow, yes, the AFC West has plenty of buts too. Sure. Yeah, but is Bo Nix really the answer? Are we also going to bet against all of this? I don't know. Like, I think the AFC West has more solutions to their questions right now than the NFC West does. So when we talk about most interesting division in football, I think the NFC West is an interesting division. I just think the AFC West right now, 2 weeks in, is a more interesting division because, good or bad, we will pay attention to the Chiefs. Whatever happens to Kansas City is interesting. Whatever happens to the Broncos is interesting. So in my mind, interesting, yes, the NFC West is more interesting than we thought. It's just not better, and it's not the most.
The NFC West also, while interesting, it's not very sexy. Like, who is the sexiest player in the NFC West? Like, when I look at the NFC East, you have Jaden Daniels, and you have Scary Terry, you have CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Malik Neighbors, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts. I mean, like, that is a sexy, star-studded division. When the NFC South isn't overly sexy, but the Baker story is always one that I think people can fall in love with. He is a superstar in this league. You had a Emeka Egbuka, who's a rising star. Mike Evans, Alvin Kamara on a crappy team. I mean, like, who pops off the page as, a headline commanding type of player, superstar, celebrity type of player in the NFC West? Yes, we love Puka Nacua. Yes, I think Jackson Smith-Njigba is so incredibly fun to watch. Yes, Matthew Stafford is probably a future Hall of Famer. We can have that debate on a different day. But like, there's no true superstar, it feels like, in the NFC West compared to the rest of the conference.
To your point, if you walked in to your favorite Buffalo Wild Wings this Sunday and it's full of NFL fans and you just had those big sideline fat heads and you put up Jaden and you put up Saquon and you ask everybody to just yell out who it is, you're going to get response after response after response. As good as I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is, for example, or can be,
yes,
if you just pop him up there, is everybody being like, oh, yeah, like, we'll turn the game to that one if you're in a random
I think so.
I don't know. I think if you just win in Q rating on I didn't watch college football. If I'm one of those guys that doesn't watch college football, I just watch the NFL, and I'm asked what number is Marvin Harrison Jr. for the Cardinals, how many just random NFL fans can name that number? I don't know. Like, the funny thing is when you talk about sexiness, Q rating, like Devontae has that, Puka has that. I think, to some, Darnold has that because of just, so Bradford has that because time in the league. So you go across the league, like
McCaffrey.
There are McCaffrey.
Kittle.
McCaffrey certainly has that. So those,
but
Kittle,
they're always
those
hurt.
Yeah, that is fair. How many? Maybe that's the better question. If you walked into a sports bar at 4:25 today and you said, "Everybody, let's flock to the Cardinals game," how many people are like, "Ooh, I want in on that"? You're right. There's a little, there's a little bit of a lack of when the 49ers are who the 49ers can be, and they're the healthiest version of the 49ers. They are the answer to this question. That is, yes. You are right. The 49ers and the Rams. If the Rams are healthy, I think the Rams are a Super Bowl caliber team. So I'm not over here just trashing the division, even though that sounds like I'm trashing the division. I have trust issues. I have trust issues with the division overall.
It's a chaotic division. It has at least the makings of being a chaotic division because, to your point, there are so many buts that I think the 49ers can be a Super Bowl contender. Yeah, but they're always hurt. And I cannot trust the 49ers to not always be hurt. I think the Rams can make a run in the playoffs and even potentially be a Super Bowl contender. Yeah, but Matthew Stafford has a back issue and he's a cajillion years old. The Cardinals, they're always really easy to buy into in the beginning of the season. Yeah, but you can't trust Kyler Murray and you can't trust that Arizona team. Same thing in Seattle. Show me more. I want to see exactly what this team is and who they are. What is their identity? Is Sam Darnold, just a flash in the pan in Minnesota and he goes back to kind of just being a average quarterback at best in this league? It's just there is so little to trust in the NFC West.
I'm pretty sure I combined Matthew Stafford and Sam Darnold to create Sam Bradford again, who hasn't been in the league in a minute. That just says everything. There we go. That's what I did. You're welcome, America. That happens.
Wow.
All right, let's get to